We're going to talk about the legal theory pre-indictment delay. And what caused the impetus of this is that the actor Danny Masterson of That 70s Show, he played Hyde on That 70s Show, was indicted on allegations that occurred in 2001 to 2003. They were investigated in 2017 all the way up to more recent times here in 2020, and were just indicted this week. In that regard, the charges the jury will hear are 17 to 19 years old. And we're going to talk about what kind of challenges that presents.
It has got to be really hard to defend allegations that are over a decade old. I mean, we've talked about this in the past, and there are a lot of things that can go wrong.
Well, there are, Erica, and it makes the defense of these charges, defending a sexual assault allegation is hard enough already. But when you factor in the destruction of evidence that's been held by the police, often on a schedule established by the police, they can't keep evidence forever. So most police departments have a destruction policy as short as a few months, and in many cases, a year, maybe two. Combine that with the loss of the accused's investigative possibilities. It's impossible now for him to go back and obtain surveillance video. It's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for him to obtain cell phone records, location history information. DNA evidence is long gone by this point. Witnesses have forgotten the information, may have even died, or have moved out of the area. Forensic data has been deleted, not collected, and is therefore lost forever. And maybe most importantly, the person who is accused himself, his memory is going to have deteriorated. Maybe most importantly, the accused himself has had significant memory loss. I mean, think about a memorable event. The last time that you had a birthday, and you probably went out to dinner for that birthday, Erica. What did you have for dinner that night?
Geez, no idea.
What did you get for a present?
Probably, I'm not sure.
And these are significant events in your life. I mean, your birthday only comes once a year. And just like being accused of sexual assault, it's a significant event. Now, granted, sexual assault allegations are probably a slightly more significant event than your birthday every year. But after 20 years, how are you going to remember details of an interaction that you had with somebody 20 years ago?
So, yeah, especially if they were probably drinking and tired, and I don't know, there's a lot of things that could go on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that passage of time reduces the available exculpatory evidence, the evidence that shows that you're not guilty of a crime.
Exactly. I agree with you. And the other weird thing about that whole situation is, I mean, another lawsuit has gone out to the Church of Scientology. And like there's an allegation that the girls, all three were in the church, two of them attended his church, were told not to go to the police, and then when they decided to go to the police, they were told not to go to the one in the county where the church was, because they had an in with the police there, so they had to go to another county. It was just like a really strange story. But I mean, you hear stories coming out of that church like that all the time, where they get involved with celebrities and protecting their own.
Absolutely. Very similar to the allegations we see against the Catholic Church.
That's true. I mean, how many times has a priest continued on after allegations over and over again? So why do you think the prosecutors waited so long to bring this up?
Well, in a nefarious aspect, strategy. Obviously, with all of the exculpatory evidence gone, memories deteriorated, it's much easier to secure a conviction. combine that with the Me Too movement that has been active since 2016 and the public sentiment that has shifted away from the presumption of innocence and towards a presumption of guilt. And now is the most convenient time to issue these charges. Additionally, Mr. Masterson's fame has been reduced since that 70s show went off the air. So I think there are some very strategic reasons why a prosecutor would create this delay. It could be negligence. It could be that this case just sat in a file cabinet for the last 20 years and somebody just happened upon it in the last few days and said, hey, we should indict this. It could be a change in the county prosecutor. There could be a new prosecutor who's been elected and has decided that this case warrants prosecution, where the previous prosecutor, which is the case in the Masterson situation, previously the authority said this case is not worthy of prosecution. But now they're saying it is worthy of prosecution. We had a case just like this about a year ago, and it was a case that had all of these issues with the destruction of evidence, a change of prosecutor, negligence, and outright destruction of evidence. And it was decided, and we won a dismissal on the issue of pre-indictment delay, first in the trial court, and then we maintained that by winning the appeal in the 3rd District Court of Appeals here in Ohio.
Wow, that's amazing. And they're lucky to have you because, really, if you can't prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, it shouldn't go through. They shouldn't win. So, I mean, I think that's good. And I was going to say, too, that it could be that Mr. Masterson just got on a new show with Ashton Kutcher. So he's in the limelight again. And he had just started working on a show called The Ranch. And it was another comedy sitcom. And so, maybe somebody just felt like getting some vengeance.
Yeah, he was fired from The Ranch between seasons 3 and seasons 4, and he was written off of that show back in 2017.
Right, when the allegations came out.
Yep, exactly.
We often talk about how just an allegation can ruin somebody's life. And, if it's true, if he did those things, then, yeah, absolutely, he shouldn't, be able to be a famous person making a ton of money. But God forbid it's not true. And, he just lost his chance and he may never get one again. It certainly has been a long time since he's had a good show.